After years abroad, I traveled all the way from Canada to Zimbabwe to see what's really happening on the ground, not from headlines, but from first-hand experience. In this video, I take you through Harare's farms, roads, and new developments to explore the truth about Zimbabwe's economy, agriculture, and real estate. I drove from the Trabablas interchange all the way to Beatrice, showing you the roads, the agriculture, and what's really happening on the agricultural sector. We'll also look into how farmers are adapting after land reform, what's driving construction and investment, and why many Zimbabweans still prefer real estate over the stock market. You will also see the beauty of the African savanna, the resilience of the Zimbabwean people, and the tough financial realities shaping the country's agricultural sector. Whether you live at home or abroad, this video gives you a grounded, unfiltered look at how Zimbabwe is changing slowly but surely. If you found this video to be an honest storytelling, please subscribe to Streetwise Economics and join our community for more global travel, investing, and economic insights. Let's get started. We are in Beatrice driving for a farm visit. I love to see vegetation. African, I think this is African savanna, you can see here. There are nice roads here. Time I came, these roads were under construction, so to see them in completion, it's something that I can see that Zimbabwe is moving in the right direction. But there are also people, farmers, because in Zimbabwe, land was redistributed and it was given to the people. And obviously it takes time to develop infrastructure and all this. You can see some of the black farmers I will visit. They are successful farmers, but farming requires a lot of capital, attention, and even expertise. I did economics, and one of the things that I learned when I did my master's in food and resource economics is you have to understand the markets, how they work. The whole process of how the economy, not just the Zimbabwean economy works, but how other countries or economies work. For example, you see, in as much as you may have high quality product, let's say now in terms of blueberry production has been at the top, actually going up in terms of the production, exporting them to Europe. But let's say there's a lot of other producers, it means the prices, as an economist, naturally all things constant, are going to drop if there's a lot of supply versus the lower or fixed demand. So those are some of the things that when farmers are getting into farming, they must understand these things. Sometimes people have to have experts, farm managers, higher economists to run some numbers for operations. And I'm sure some of the successful farmers here in Zimbabwe, they do that and they are doing just fine. And that's something that I'm excited about. To see some of these projects, life-changing projects. You can see that farm, there's some livestock, grow tobacco and other cash crops. And some are subsistence. That means they just grow the food or the crops just for their own basic needs, which is good. That means in terms of the budget, now they won't have to pay a lot of money to buy basic foods. So that's something that is wonderful. And I know in Canada, for example, if you look at the statistics, about 30% of most people's income, it goes to rent or mortgages, housing. So that means if you can build your own house, for example, here in Zimbabwe, that means you take that expense off. But here houses, they are built gradually over time. We are 10 kilometers from Beatrice. Beatrice is just right next to Harare. For those who don't know, some of my audience, Harare is the capital of Zimbabwe, a country that is in African continent. And Zimbabwe is a beautiful country. There's a lot of tourism, but also there's the economy, there's agriculture, it's the mainstay. There's also mining, which has been coming up. Think of the Anglo-American, platinum, chrome, diamonds. Actually, even Zimbabwe has diamonds. in Manicaland. They are the popular Marange diamonds. Tourism is also another aspect, and the financial sector, the banking sector is not as big. The last time that I checked, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, for those who want to invest, some of the companies that I see, they are like Delta, for example, but it's linked to the economy. That if it's agriculture, if they use sorghum, for example, the crop to produce a beer and stuff, it kind of like links up. So that's why you see some of the industries that have been also growing in Harare, so far been in Harare, have been construction. You see that track that just passed us. Construction is booming in Zimbabwe. So that means it's a whole new industry. People have to construct housing, and also because the financial sector, in terms of the stock market, a lot of people, as far as I understand, I think the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, last time I checked, I think it was like 5.5 billion, if I'm correct, the last time that I checked, US dollar. Means that's the money that is in that market. So a lot of people, in my view, what I'm observing is they've been channeling the money in the real estate because they don't have access to, a lot of them, they don't have access to cheap finance. If they have, it's quite expensive. Imagine paying interest of 20% or even 100% in US dollar terms. I was just checking on some of the banks, their terms. Let's say you want to buy a land and you're talking of probably $50,000 land. If you are looking at medium density, or maybe 20,000 US dollars. Now, if you then want to build a house, let's say on 400 square meters, you probably need, I would say, 40,000 US off the top of my head in terms of the estimation. So imagine borrowing now, let's say 60,000 and paying 50% in interest in US dollar terms. That's crazy. Think of it the other way. We have invested, for example, 50,000 and you're generating, let's say, 50%. So that means at the end of, let's say, the year, you've generated 50% return. 50% of 50,000 is 25,000. So you have principal of 50,000 plus 25,000, that's 75,000. The next year, if you generate 50%, it's now 50% of 75. So it grows. That's what we call compound interest. It's an exponential growth function. So in like 2 years, you have doubled your money. Less than 2 years, actually. So that means, you know, you can grow your money. It's extremely difficult to do. So these are some of the things that I learned when I do this business. I'm observing and I'm noticing things that sometimes people now are investing in real estate because the stock market in Zimbabwe, a lot of people, some don't invest. Most people, they don't invest there for whatever reason. Maybe they don't trust the financial system, or maybe sometimes it could be lack of financial education or financial literacy. Many just don't have disposable income to save and invest. So a lot of them, from what I've observed, they go into agriculture, they build houses, real estate, and probably you're getting 7 to 12% according to my research online. And I'm also showing you some beautiful views here as we go to this farm visit, so that you guys, you can also see the beautiful Zimbabwe, the beautiful side of Zimbabwe that you may not usually see. I suspect that might be a foul run for chickens. In Zimbabwe, contract farming is big, but you have to build the foul run in a manner that the contractors can approve. There's some standards, and then they can then get into partnership and make money. So subscribe, tune in for more content like this. I'll be delivering more of this raw, unfiltered content about places that I travel to around the world. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in.